Hey there, Conscious Rider. It's Coach Sean West, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 key ways on how to actually reduce your anxiety through your relationship with sexuality. So let's go ahead and get into today's video. So when it comes to sexuality, this is a very, very big part of what builds up a lot of anxiety within us, but it's also a big part of our health. It's just as important as the food we eat. It's important as our relationships, our social life, our physical activity, what we do with our lives financially, our careers. If you really think about it, sexuality is a major core need, and a lot of times people don't talk about it. It's kind of something that's kind of shushed and quiet about, and it actually triggers a lot of anxiety within people. So when we're talking about sexuality and anxiety, the first thing that we need to do is we actually need to change our story with sexuality. So, there's, like I said, a lot of people, they're kind of frowning upon sexuality. It's in our society, it's something that nobody wants to talk about. And at the same time, we see violence promoted everywhere. So you see it in video games, you see it in TVs. Children see thousands of deaths by the time they're teenagers just through TVs and video games alone. And then, it's kind of like sexuality is frowned upon. And then when they go to school, they're basically told to be scared of sexuality because they're going to get STDs. And when you hear that, of course, nobody's going to ever want to have sex because they're filled with fear. But then at the same time, sexuality, it's kind of built into our daily life, but it's shown as like an image of how people must be, and it actually creates a lot of insecurities within people. So, you see this on billboards and ads, and men and women are kind of spoon-fed a certain way, a certain image that they have to look. So, for instance, men, they're told that they need to have big giant muscles, they need to have six-pack abs, and on top of this, men are taking all these kinds of crazy supplements and pills, to make their private parts bigger because, that's what they're told is what a woman's looking for, and it creates a lot of insecurities within men. But at the same time, women are going through the same thing, even much worse. Women are told that they need to look a certain way, and they see all these women in these magazines and on these ads that are all airbrushed, and it's fake to begin with. So, women want to be much skinnier, they want to have curves, they want to have bigger breasts, bigger butts, and really it creates this, imaginary self-image of what a person should look like, when really, if you think about it, in other cultures, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. In a lot of other cultures, being a thick woman is actually attractive. And, you have to get out of the mindset of what society's telling you have to look like. Really just honor and appreciate yourself, and really just own your sexuality, own who you are. And, like I said, a lot of people, they're building up these insecurities, and then, it's triggering a lot of anxiety in with them. So the number one thing you just have to understand is that, first of all, there is no one way somebody should look. That beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and really just, cherish your body. Be grateful for what you have. Have confidence and praise yourself. Matter of fact, it may sound even kind of silly, but I would even suggest going and, creating a sexual practice where maybe dancing naked or looking at yourself in the mirror and just really appreciate yourself, honor yourself, and just really smile and be grateful for this beautiful body that you have. And then on top of this, to take it a step further, there's other people who are literally traumatized by sexuality. These are people that were maybe victimized and molested, and unfortunately, it happens a lot out there in the world. And a lot of times, those people, they can carry that pain, and they can come from a state of being victimized. And as a result, they kind of close themselves up. They never allow themselves to experience love. They never allow themselves to experience, what a relationship should be. They never allow themselves to experience touch and pleasure and all these things because they carry that pain and that weight. But do understand this. I encourage you to come from a place of, instead of being victimized, come from a place of empowerment and just, It sounds very, very hard to do, and it is hard to do, but understand that, that an event is just an event. And that was meant to happen to you for some reason, and try to find empowerment out of it. That event maybe led you to find the true love that you ran into later on in your life. Maybe that event made you a stronger person. Maybe that event made you so strong that you were able to go out and help other people who were in that same situation as you. So really, you don't want to carry that weight. You don't want to carry that pain, because it's only going to build up inside of you. It's going to build up a fire. And really, the only person you're going to hurt when you carry that pain and that suffering is yourself. So it's really, really important to come from a place of, instead of being victimized, come from a place of empowerment. And I encourage you to get a piece of paper out and actually write down on a piece of paper all the reasons why you're grateful that that event happened to you. And like I said, that could be making you stronger. Maybe it made you wiser, what to look out for, whatever that may be. But keep writing them down. When you get to the point where you fill that whole entire piece of paper up, when you get to the point where you're bawling your eyes out, that is when you have a massive breakthrough, and that's when you can finally let go of that weight. You can let go of that pain and truly just move on with your life. So the important thing that we need to do first when we come to our sexuality and anxiety is we just need to rewrite our story with sexuality. We need to just understand that an event is just an event, and things happen, whether they're good or bad. There's a reason why they've happened to us. So I encourage you to do that exercise and come from a place of empowerment, and really just also, like I was saying earlier, own your security, own your body, and just be grateful for the body you have. And you don't need, to be this image that society tells you need to be, because you're only going to trigger a lot of pain, and you're only going to trigger a lot of anxiety, and then it's going to manifest into your everyday life. So the second thing we need to do, when overcoming anxiety through the power of sexuality, is actually just unleash our sexuality, unleash our sexual energy, our creativity. And this actually comes from the term, or you may have heard the term organ energy. So organ energy was actually the work of Wilhelm Reich. He discovered this, and it actually comes from the word orgasm. So basically, what Wilhelm Reich discovered is that organ is the energy that passes through everything. And he also discovered, if you look into his work, that this energy actually builds up and manifests in the body, and it's actually released through the orgasm. So if you are not releasing this energy, if this energy is building up through the body, it just keeps building up, and building up. And eventually, it can actually cause harm to our body, and actually cause a lot of health side effects, and it can actually, lead to a lot of things psychologically, like sexual frustration and things like that. So it's really, really important that we release this energy, and it doesn't have to be released just through sexuality. This same energy is actually released through your creativity as well. So this can be, this energy can be released through, drawing. It can be released through painting. It can be released through dancing, even poetry, cooking, all these things. Whatever your creative passion is, you can release this energy through that passion. And if you really think about it too, sexuality, sex in general, is a very creative thing. It's looked at as a dirty thing, but it's actually, if anything, more creative than, drawing or painting or dancing or any of those things. When two people come together with irresistible love, and they actually create life, and you spawn another human being that comes from a little speck and turns into this magnificent human being with a beating heart and a thinking brain and blood that's flowing and hundreds of thousands of trillion little microbiome organisms growing in it. And every day their only purpose is to serve you, to make you thrive, to make you live. That is the definition of creation, that is creativity. It doesn't get more creative than that, creating life. So really just own it and, embrace your sexual energy and let that sexual energy out. If you don't, this can, build up in your body, not releasing that sexual energy, not releasing the creativity, and it can really trigger a lot of anxiety in your life. So the third thing we want to do, releasing anxiety through the power of sexuality is, last but not least, is just get into alignment with your sexuality. So many people, they have these, maybe they have, sexual desires, sexual hungers, and, maybe they feel a little dirty because they feel like there's something wrong with them, that they're feeling these expressions or these emotions or these feelings. And understand that there's nothing wrong with you. It's about living in alignment with you. Some people, they don't have a very big sex drive, and that's okay. But then there's people who do have a very big sex drive, and there are people we call freaky, and maybe they're into certain things, and you don't have to feel ashamed of that. Obviously, you don't want to do anything that's going to harm somebody or anything that's going to make your partner uncomfortable. But if you have sexual desires, and maybe you are one of those people that are a little more sexual, a little more freaky, you understand that there's nothing wrong with you. You're just a very sexual person, and that's okay. So what you do is just like anything else with the food you eat, whether it's a certain diet, whether maybe you eat a keto diet or you're a vegan or something. It's about living in alignment with what's in alignment with you. When you look for a spouse, what do you look for in a person emotionally? What features are you looking for in a person mentally, emotionally, physically? That's in alignment with you. Your career, your calling, your purpose in life. What is that's in alignment with you? It's the same thing with sexuality. If you're a very sexual person, then you need to find someone who's very sexual just like you and can, fulfill those sexual desires, those sexual needs, just like all the other areas of your life. And once you can do that, and you can actually feel good about who you are and, your desires and your needs and who you are as a person, and you live in alignment with what's in alignment with you, that releases a boatload of anxiety from you. So those are my 3 tips on actually how to manage and release our anxiety through the power of sexuality. And I really hope, maybe you got some really good knowledge out of this video. Maybe you had a breakthrough just listening to this, or maybe it gave you one of those, those aha moments. And I really encourage you, some of the exercise, the exercise I talked about in this video as well too, to really do that and put it into action, because, knowing and not doing, knowing and not doing is the same thing as not knowing. So it's really important that we, put what we know and put the knowledge into action, because action is key. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and share your biggest takeaways from the video. I'd love to hear. And if you're looking for maybe one-on-one coaching for anxiety, you can reach out to me at www.consciousride.com. And as always, my friend, live in peace, love with passion.